Hello again. This week I'm going to be building another one of my tanks for my 30 Corps, and this time it's the Cromwell Cruiser Tank by Warlord. So let's get this open, and what I'll be doing is I'll be following a similar format to last time. I'll be photographing it as I go through the various stages, and that way you can see more of the details of the items that I'm using to build it up. Just pop this out. Looks like one's come loose. Well, it doesn't look like there's many parts, so this should be relatively simple. Right, let me cut off the first section of parts and I'll bring you back. Right, so starting with the wheels, not very complicated, not many parts. The main thing is getting the two pieces of track to meet up well around the wheels. And once you've done that, they look pretty effective. You know, they've come together well. Any slight gaps you can cover with mud. But as you can see, they've gone on fairly tight. And it's looking okay to progress to the next stage, which will be constructing the top part of the tank and all the extra fittings and hatches and lights and lamps. Moving on to the next stage, I suddenly spot that there's a bit of a problem. Just thought I'd bring you back to show you something here that's a bit disappointing. The little brackets that protect the lights on the front of the tank, there should be 4 of them, 4 part 16s, but when I've cut them off, unfortunately there's been one missing. Now, it was bagged up, so I can only presume it came off even before it was bagged, because it's not there. So what I've attempted to do is cut, well, first of all, get a staple from out my staple gun. I don't know whether you can see that. And I've bent and cut it into shape to match this one. If I can put it on my hand, I can show it you a bit better. That's that one. And that's them. So that one's going to have to pass as the one that's missing. Bit disappointing, but I've managed to get around it. The only thing that I'm wondering now is whether it'd be better, as that one is missing, to replace the other one as well to keep them looking the same. Doesn't matter about the other side. It's, you know, it's not going to be so noticeable. So I think that's probably what I'll do. So I'll bring you back in a minute. So having got them ready, and I was about ready to fit them when I spotted another problem. Oh, back again, I'm afraid. There seems to be another problem. I was just looking to locate these replacement parts over the light. And if you look, I don't know whether I can get this to show up well. Whether you can see just here, the moulding's all wrong. There's a piece that's just missing. It looks like it was pulled out when it popped out the mould. So there's a little bit out the front missing. Including the locating hole for the pin itself. And also, one of the locating holes for the actual pin is not there in the back. So this is pretty bad. You can see it clearly there on the back, look. You can see these brackets. They've got one hole at the front, one hole at the back. Same on this one. Then you look at this one, look. And the fourth hole up here is all melted out. So there's nothing to fix it to. And that part's missing. And also one of the holes here is not gone all the way through either. So I'm going to have to fettle with this a little bit to get it right. And probably when I've got it together, I might have to do a little bit of a blue stuff repair on this. Green stuff repair, sorry. Either that or I can try and pass it off as a bit of damage. But disappointing though. Certainly contrasts with the last kit that I built by Rubicon, where there was no problem at all. So a bit disappointed with that. Right, I'll have a look and see what I can do with it, and then I'll bring you back. Right, so I've had a go at repairing this. I don't know whether you can see it very well on this, but what I've done is I've put the two pieces of paper clip that I said on this end and bent them to shape so as it matches this other one. And then also where part of the front was not there, it had badly moulded, I've moulded that in with a bit of green stuff. And as if that wasn't enough, I then find out this little gun, when I got that off the thing, this piece wasn't there, and I found that loose in the bag. So I think they had a bit of a bad day when it comes to this kit, but hopefully now it should be okay. I mean, once it's painted up and then weathered, that should hide anything that's a problem. But I think at the moment it looks okay. It looks like it'll be okay. Right, let's press on. So that's gone together fairly well now. And with the primer and the paint and a bit of weathering, most of this won't show now. I've got to do something with that gun to straighten it up where that piece was missing. But I fitted the front cleats, and then it was time to look at, putting the top on. So I decided to add a bit of weight here. I normally use washers, but I hadn't got any to hand. So I decided to raid the piggy bank and used a couple of 2p pieces. And that just gives it that, better feel, really. And so I was able to put the top section on now. And then it's time to look at the rear arrangement of it with the exhaust system and that. And that went together fairly well, really. No particular problems with it. So it was time to turn to the turret itself then. Although it's fairly self-explanatory, I think the diagram could have been a bit better for this section. But on the whole, it went together well. Right. So that's the Cromwell completed. Just put the turret in place. And there it is. I've got a bit of glue in places, unfortunately. I'm not saying it's complicated because it's not, it's easy, but There are one or two bits where it shows the expanded diagram, but it doesn't make it completely clear how to fix things. I must admit I got a little bit cack-handed with it as well, so that's why I've smeared bits of glue on it, but I can get that off afterwards. But on the whole, it's a nice looking tank. I'm pleased with it. I'll clean it up when it's dried a bit more. And I've managed to get round that damaged part, which I'm quite pleased with. Once that's painted up, you're not going to know it was even there. I mean, it does look a nice looking tank. As opposed to the previous one that I built, the Sherman 3 from Rubicon, I'd say it was a little bit, I don't know, less robust and less forgiving to put together, but it wasn't that bad. It's quite straightforward. You've just got to be, think about what you're doing, think about how it needs to go together rather than just how it looks. But yeah, pretty pleased with it. It's a nice looking tank for my collection. As regards spares, I mean, that's another distinction I draw between the Warlord kit and the Rubicon. As you can see, there's nothing. In fact, the only spare I've got is the hedge cutter, which I decided not to fit, and the commander, tank commander himself. I mean, it's not a bad thing. You've got the tank that you're after, but I do find it useful to have those extras in the Rubicon kit because it just gives you more to play with, doesn't it? Really. But then the other thing that you get, obviously, with this is your little explosion thing, which we can make up. Your transfers. Happy to see that they've got 30 core ones on there. They're the ones that will be going on it. And then the card itself. So, right, so that's the Cromwell finished. As I said before, I will be painting them all up together. It makes more sense at the moment. So it'll be on to the next one. So thanks again for joining me. Hope you found it useful, and at least give you some ideas in case you encounter kits where there's parts missing, that you can get round it. I mean, if worse come to worse, if it wasn't repairable in that way, you can always dress it as battle damage. I know you shouldn't have to, but these are things that come in handy when you're discovering the kits. So, right, if you have liked it, please consider giving me a thumbs up, or subscribe for when the next video comes. But most of all, keep the comments coming. It's lovely to read them, and I do reply to everyone. So, and thanks again for all the people that have been joining. I mean, it's made a hobby within a hobby for me, and I really do enjoy engaging with everybody else on what they're up to. So thanks very much for everyone that's been commenting. Right, I'll sign off there, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.